Online. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be with you. Thank you for asking me to do this.
I'm
Very
so
happy to be
happy.
with you.
I'm very happy. It's the first edition, the first episode of those Talk with Lise. And of course, I needed a first fantastic guest, and I thought about you. So, thank
Oh,
you for being
no,
my
you're
guest.
too nice. You're too kind.
So,
Thank you.
where are you? Tell us.
I am in New York, in
Uh-huh.
our apartment in New York. I think that you lived in this neighborhood when you were living in New York. Is that right?
Yeah, I remember one day we bumped into each other 3 times during the same day. Do you remember
That's right. Nobody was hurt, but we did bump into each other
that?
3 times. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
are you ready?
we're in the apartment over the Starbucks.
Yes, I remember that. I
I'm
used
just
to
I'm just joking over that Starbucks. Yeah.
that one, this
Yeah.
one, right?
Yes.
So, I will. Are you ready to do it? Are we ready?
Yes. I
Well,
have to confess, I don't think I've ever been, I don't know. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever been live on Facebook before, but maybe sometimes they stream concerts. Is that right?
yeah, sometimes I do, but it's your first conscious Facebook Live.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And by the way, hats off to you for starting this project. You are so impressive. No, I mean, I've always known you as a wonderful pianist and great artist, but so much energy and creativity. So really,
Thank you, Gil. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah.
Great. So, hopefully people are around now and watching you and us. And so let's do it, So I guess many of the people watching are, music fans and music lovers. So they probably know you. And already when I announced you, I had many emails and texts like, wow, so exciting and everything. So I don't need to make a big intro about you, but I will just say that as a musician, as a solo performer, as a chamber music performer, as a soloist with the most amazing orchestra, and as a recording artist, you are just one of the top of the top. You are everywhere, playing with everyone, share. And we are back on. Gil, are you here?
I am here. I'm here.
We are back on.
Nice to be back.
So apparently it's just very busy, on Facebook right now. Internet is busy.
You know, this is
Let
real.
me
This
ask
is
you
real. This is
something.
real. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Because all this idea about the confinement lives and these talks are to talk about the confinement. So I have a question for you. First, can you tell me how is life since this whole lockdown happened? What is a typical Gil Shaham confined day?
Well, actually, I was just going to share with you my little guy, my 8-year-old, just came into the room, and he said, "Can I practice the piano now?" And I said, "No, absolutely no practicing the piano now." So that is a little bit of our life during confinement. It's we share our computer, we share our Wi-Fi, we share our little music room here, and we share the piano. Yeah, I mean, look, we've been so very lucky, touch wood, you know. So we know some people who have tested positive for the virus, but nobody who's really gotten very sick. But basically, we are really all fine here, and I hope the same for you.
Yeah, everything is fine on my side too. Thanks for asking.
Um,
So, an interesting thing for me talking to my friends all over the world, musical friends, is it seems that everyone has a very special personal approach to this time. And some told me that music needed to be very still in the center of their life. Others really stopped, kind of put their life on hold and did something totally different. So my question next is, how was your relationship and how is your relationship to music and to your violin during these 2 months of confinement? Do you practice a lot? Did you take some air? Did you think about other stuff? Did you do other things, or were you still very much into music? What and how, if it happened, did this confinement time change the relationship with your instrument or with music in general?
Trying to remember, um, I just think that there's an irony here that somehow we suddenly had this opportunity to slow down and search our souls and decide, what our values are and what's important to us and how we want to spend our time and our lives, and who we want to help, who we want to be. And um, that was maybe a kind of a positive thing that came out of these tragic times, right? um, as far as music, yeah, I had a lot of things left over to do, a lot of listening that I spent the first couple of weeks doing, and then I really didn't play much, uh, and I found that I missed it. And actually, while you were asking the question, I was thinking, in my family, there's 5 people, my wife and I and our 3 kids, and everybody plays, and I think everybody practices more now than we ever did before,
Really?
which which is interesting. Yeah, there's something just so rewarding about it, and you learn a new piece. It's a project, and then there's something very, yeah, there's something just so fulfilling about music. I guess we all knew that. When you were asking the question, I was thinking, with technology, we've also done some things that we've never done before.
Okay.
I always think this is very Jetsons. I don't know if you probably don't know the Jet. Do you remember the Jetsons? Um,
Yeah.
they would talk on
Yeah. Yeah.
video phones, um, but we were able to connect with some friends and just for fun make some recordings. Where Adele, my wife, who was a violinist, and me, we recorded some things here, and then we sent the file over to our friends. And I guess the first ones we did were with Eric and Colin Jacobson,
Yeah, I've seen that. That
and
was very lovely.
and then they overdubbed their tracks over that, and then I think actually Colin then overdubbed another track playing the viola, and so yeah, these are sort of technological experiments we never had before. All 3 kids right now, as we speak, are on Zoom doing their schoolwork.
Yeah,
So yeah, many things have changed, I guess. Yeah.
great.
What about yourself, Lise? What would you say? How has your life changed?
Oh, I'll be brief because it's not about me, it's about you. But for me, 2 things. I initiated those live confinement every Saturday where I play for people on my page, on my Facebook page, so I don't lose the contact with my audience and with music. And also, I needed to somehow find myself useful to society and to help, as you mentioned when you said, well, it's becoming important to help and to know what we do with our lives. So I started volunteering at Red Cross 3 days a week,
Bravo.
I go there 6 hours a day, and it's quite intense. But it's a beautiful life experience. So that was and is my balance during those difficult times. So I have another question for you. I'm very professional. I got it all organized here. When life goes back to something more normal, I mean, something hopefully quite totally normal for us in a couple months, is there something you discovered about life or about music thanks to this experience, thanks to the confinement, that you want to keep in your life, or you want to change or adjust, or do you just want to go back to the old world? Does this experience made you realize something about your personal life or about music, or something you want to do differently from now on?
It's so interesting. It's so funny. While you were asking the question, I was thinking, well, I'll never wash my hands the same way again.
True.
I turned out I was washing my hands wrong all those years, and I was always a big hand washer. Violinists, we're always worried, even if your hands are a little too sweaty, then on the string it doesn't feel right, so you go and you wash your hands all the time.
Really? I didn't know that. This is
Yeah,
very interesting.
I don't know, maybe like wind players are always brushing their teeth,
Yeah.
something like that.
And the pianist, we are the dirty ones. We don't need to watch anything.
But now I finally learned, I saw some videos on YouTube, and you between the fingers and the palm and the back and the thumbs and the wrist, and I will never wash my hands again the same way. But I think that's
a good answer.
I think that's really just one small thing. Probably all of us will have changed. And there is something about, we took so many things for granted before. I feel that now I appreciate. I mean, of course, the experience of live concerts, what does it mean to be in a room with 1,000 people and all, experience something together? All of us watch a movie together. All of us hear a piece of music together, and hear, all of us breathe together. That's kind of an exhilarating experience that maybe we took for granted before. I mean, I know that we took our microwave oven for granted before. That was until last week when it broke, and we thought, time to get a new microwave oven. So yeah, somehow I think our whole way of seeing the world has changed. I think that's probably true for all of us.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Great. And if you would have to pick only one word, not world, one word to describe this crazy experience, this all together, like the confinement, not being on stage, not traveling, being stuck home, discovering what you discovered, all those things, what would that word be?
I can't think of anything. What would you say? What would you say, Lise?
I think I would say strange, but strange is very boring. But it's everything to me is very bizarre, So it's not good or not bad. It's just different. So that's for me. But you're tricky. It's my question to you.
I don't know. I was going, I've been calling it the long weekend, because at the beginning it felt like a long weekend, but now it really feels like a very long weekend. It's for a while I was calling it house arrest, but I don't think that really captures it. So I don't know. Yeah. it is an interesting experience, and I think it's um, so strange to think that we never experienced anything like this in
Yeah.
our lives. Our parents never experienced anything like this. Probably your grandparents never experienced it, but my grandparents probably did. You know, if you think of the, you know, those times before with the Spanish flu or even polio epidemic, you know, um, these are things that somehow have been part of human life before.
Yeah,
But
you're right. We totally forgot that.
we were so lucky not to experience, yeah, something like that.
So now is the fun part of the talk to discover a little bit more about you. And
I've been
so
having fun the whole time. Yeah.
it's you know, the questionnaire de Proust, the Proust questionnaire. So it's short questions and it's meant to be short answers. So are you ready for that?
Oh my gosh. So this is like kind of a Rorschach test.
And
Like if,
we're not in a rush, but you know, that's the idea.
okay, I'll try. I'm sure I'll get the answers wrong.
Just about you. So first, how would you describe your current state of mind?
Um, the word that came to my mind is kind of capricious, you know, I don't know.
That's
Sort
great.
of,
It's
kind of
perfect.
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, overwhelming, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, probably. I think that's probably true. You know, everything is out of our control, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. What would you say?
I would say overwhelming. Yeah, same. What do you consider being your main personality trait?
Wow, I don't know.
I'm
I'm just
sure
kind of
our
there.
audience wants to know.
I'm just there, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Um, main personality trait. You know, I have to go on on a tangent.
Yeah, please do.
It's you know what, I maybe I will send you a link that because I'm forgetting the name of this brilliant psychologist who works with my kids' school. He has this program for the primary school
Mm-hmm.
where he has the kids come in every day and describe their mood with a mood meter. They have a colors, you know, a quadrant, and on one side is degree of activity, and on the other side is degree of unpleasantness, and or pleasantness, I guess, and he has different places for it, and yeah, and he manages to put different words on different locations on this graph, and it's very interesting, and it's about emotional regulation. Anyway, maybe I will send you a link because I found it fascinating, and maybe some of your viewers would be interested. And
Yeah.
that's all because I can't come up with an answer to your question. Your question was, in one word, say
Now, what's your main personality quality? If
personality.
yeah, how would you describe yourself? Like, you know, for me, for example, I would say probably very impatient. I'm you know, that's something that I really try
I
uh, to make okay, but that's maybe the one main trait. If I had to pick for myself, maybe other people will think differently, but for me, with myself, that's what I would say. So if it can help you find your
I think
one thing.
I think I am similar. I would say, yeah, because I would say impatient and at the same time, maybe also towards stubborn, you know,
Yeah. When
stubborn.
is which sign are you? When are you born? Your
I am
anniversary?
born on the cusp of Pisces and Aquarius.
Okay.
And how about you?
I'm a Taurus.
You're a Taurus. Yeah.
So we'll go deeper, you know. So what is the trait you most like in yourself, and on the opposite, what is the trait you most deplore in yourself? So basically, your what you think is your best quality, and what is you think is your worst bad quality.
Wow. Wow. I never really thought in those terms, you know, about myself. Let's see.
That's
Um,
why we try to do it here, so people can learn about you as a human being and not just as an amazing violinist on stage.
oh, you're too nice. I mean, I guess I always, you know, maybe I'm way off in this assessment. You know, it's completely
Tell me
subjective.
what you think.
Subjective, but I think maybe I do have a tendency to think about others and try to think what, you know, what they feel, what they think. You know, I was the middle child of three, and so I guess I was always kind of navigating my way around it. So maybe I'm maybe I'm proud of this of this attribute. But on the other hand, yeah, then my most negative, I don't know, I have so many negative, but I would thinking of this, maybe pride. Maybe pride is one of them, you know, pride, stubbornness, impatience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Great.
So
Um, what is your greatest fear?
greatest fear.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm very close to my family, you know, and I love my family. And yeah, I, yeah. So I can't even think about, yeah.
That's something I find remarkable with you, because I know how close you are, and you bring your kids to school when you're home, and you refuse to travel too long away to be there for your kids and for your wife. And so I that's something that really touches me, to know that, you know, beside what we all know from you, there's a great artist. You are so close and devoted to your people, and that that says a lot, because I think we really play the way we are, and I can always hear a lot of humanity, you know. Of course, we can talk about the technique and the maestria and the interpretation, but for me, something that was really clear the first time I heard you was this kind of, really, you talk from your heart with your violin, and I think that is a great, there is no mystery to me here, because you play the way you are. So I
No, you're too nice. You're
no,
too
I'm just being sincere. So next one
but
is a bit more fun. Tell me, what was your biggest musical embarrassment? Like, you know, the story where something went wrong and it ended up being funny, but mostly after.
embarrassing. You know, there have been really so many.
Maybe
But
one. You can pick one.
I just now, when you were asking the question, I was remembering the time you know, in the Beethoven triple concerto, I was once very lucky to play it with two amazing musicians, Fima Bronfman and Truls Merck, and we were at the Aspen Music Festival. And you know, in the final move, have you played the
Not
triple?
yet. I'm supposed to play it next summer. I mean this summer, but probably won't happen. But anyway, I know the piece pretty well.
Oh, I think yeah, I love it, you know, and I'm sure you will too. Anyway, in the last movement, there's a beautiful part in the middle where the violin and cello have a kind of a dialogue, and you know, one says one line, and then the other one says the other line, and like that, and then that same section comes back later, but they switch, you know, so the first line comes in the cello, and then the next line comes in the violin. Anyway, here we are on stage, and I just forgot that it was my turn. And so we were all just standing there in silence, you know. And I was just thinking, what? Oh, that should have been me, you know. So I don't know. I really have had so many. Actually, I just thought of two more. Is it okay if I tell you two
Tell us.
more?
Yes, please.
Um, I think this one is kind of, yeah, anyway, kind of fun. I was rehearsing, again, Beethoven. This was the Beethoven single. You know, we were rehearsing in Cleveland. It was the dress rehearsal, and the conductor was Maestro Deneuve, Stefan Deneuve. And I don't know my Beethoven well enough, but in the slow movement of the violin concerto by Beethoven, there is a spot marked pianissimo, P, you know,
P, right?
and the orchestra strings are con sordini, you know, they're muted, and it's just two violins playing with mutes, pianissimo, and maybe, and I don't know my Beethoven, but maybe this is the softest moment, the softest marking in all of Beethoven. And as we got to this point in the piece, my phone rang in my pocket. And at the time, I had the most obnoxious phone. Maybe you remember it. They had these kind of flip Motorola phones, you know, and
I do remember.
hello, Moto, you know. And so we reached this delicate part. Hello, Moto. And the entire Cleveland Orchestra started doing this thing. They started coughing, you know, the donuts, donuts, you know. I really was mortified. And I turned to the concertmaster, who was Ellen De Pasquale. I don't know if you know Ellen. And I said, I'm just so embarrassed, Ellen. I'm sorry. And she said, well, Gil, what they're all saying is donuts. Because here in the Cleveland Orchestra, we have a tradition that when somebody's cell phone goes off in a performance or in a rehearsal, then we expect them to provide donuts for the whole orchestra the following service. And I'll never forget, she said, a variety would be nice, but I prefer glazed. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely story. I love it. So, what words or phrases do you overuse? What do you have any language tricks? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do.
Any that are coming to your mind or not really?
Oh, you probably notice them more than I do.
For me, it's all perfect.
There's a wonderful conductor, Lan Shui. I don't know if you've had a chance to work with Lan.
I did.
he always makes fun of me because I often say, what do you think? You know, so, you know, he'll say, Gil, should this part be in 2 or in 4? And I will say, I'm not sure. What do you think? And then he'll make fun of me. He's like, oh, Gil, what do you think? So maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed, you know, you always want me to answer the question. So it's a little bit the same. Like, what about you?
Because
Okay,
you're more likely to know the answer than I.
I have two more questions. So the first one is, in your whole life, your entire life, it could be personal, musical, whatever. If you had to pick one moment that you would consider your greatest extravaganza, the craziest thing you ever did,
Oh, craziest.
or yeah, you know, the greatest extravaganza, the craziest out of the box, or you know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm probably not such an out of the box guy, but you know, I did always have this kind of fear of heights. You know, I was always like afraid, even on stage, you know,
Really?
and yeah. And then one day I was like, that's enough. And I went to jump off a mountain. You know, I did the paragliding.
That is crazy. Oh my God.
So it's not really crazy, I think, by most
It
people's
is.
standards.
How is it? I'm very curious now, because this is something I fantasize, you know, with the idea from very far. But how was it?
I mean, you know, for me, it really was crazy, and I was terrified.
Were
But
you alone or with friends
I
or?
no, no, I think it was with an instructor. I think they call it in tandem, you know, or something.
Oh,
And he was very encouraging. He said something very encouraging. He said, "Look, we're going to run on the mountain, and this will pick us up. So if you think about it, if it can pick us up, it can keep us up in the air too, you know." And it kind of calmed me down. But really, after doing that, I think I felt better, you know. Not that I ever did it again, but now I know that I did it.
that's a great experience. Bravo. Wow. I'm impressed.
I,
And so the last one to conclude this great talk with you is, do you have a motto? And if so, what is it?
motto, no.
No,
Motto. Uh,
like a life philosophy sentence, or, you know.
I can't think of any. I can't think of any. Um, I never thought of it. I don't know. Just keep swimming. Is that something?
That
What
is something.
What about you?
For me, it's an old one, but I still agree with it. It's too much is never enough.
Too much is never enough.
But
Yes, I agree too.
good. So, Gil, thanks. That's the end of the talk, and I really appreciate it. I'm sorry for the first, you know, interrupted minutes, but we had it under control after. So,
No,
thank you
thank
so
you. It
much
was
for being
so
my
nice.
first guest.
I was so honored to be your first guest. Thank you for having me. It was so nice to talk with you.
And yeah, I really enjoyed hearing your experience about, you know, the confinement, and to learn about you a little bit more as a human being. And I hope we can see each other again soon, somewhere around this world.
I hope we can meet in person next
Yeah.
time. The same.
So take care. Give my
You,
love to New York. I miss it. And
yeah, and please to Paris too.
I will.
I miss Paris. I miss all my friends. I hope all my musician friends are doing okay in Paris. And everybody in Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.